Uh, hey, live. What's up, YouTube? I'm back. I tried to delete the last video because I was playing the music off a speaker that I have, and my daughter said that it sounded distorted a little bit, and she wanted me to try to do the video over, but try to keep my webcam off of or from so close to the speakers so you guys can hear the song. Excuse me, I am very nervous right now still. And yeah. So I'm gonna retry to pull this off so you guys can hear it a little better. It does sound really good. Just have to pull it up, and I'm gonna see if the quality of the sound, if you guys could hear it better. And if you like it, let me know that you like it. Hit the like button or leave a comment if you would like for me to start coming on YouTube and speaking out a little more, or just giving you a taste of what I'm about and who I am as a person and what I stand for. So, with that being said, without further ado,
if you find anybody that'll love you, you better make sure that the love's true. Let's go. Your family be the first one to hurt you. You better make sure that the love's true.
I had to back away from the now cutting family ties. I went to church where motherfuckers ain't got no God in them now. I had to back away from people, places, persons, and things. I started drifting when my brother died. I started seeing shit for what it is. When family ain't family and friends ain't friends, and crossing motherfuckers be the reason why I didn't went from to school with no school, start having babies and shit. See, I was raised to be careful, won't trust nobody but God, and only dog that showed loyalty was the one with 4 legs. They say blood is thicker than water. Let's keep this shit biblical and out for now. 242 family ties. I'm cutting family ties. They say blood is thicker than water. So where were you when I was drowning, laughing at my situation, steadily anticipate what I'm doing and how I'm moving? Always keeping my grass cut so I can see you niggas creeping. Always playing left. No, you niggas ain't right.
If you find anybody that'll love you better make sure that the love's true. Your family be the first one to hurt you. You better make sure that the love's true.
They say blood is thicker than water, then it's that can't enable be. Niggas sink or swim, hope it's dead. Better have your life jacket looking for your mans in there. Niggas leave you dead, took a picture right before my own eyes, and now it's just a memory. Having trust and disgusting the wrong motherfuckers that had you broke. I had to back away from people, places, persons, and things, and that shit included family. That's some deep ass pain. Yeah, okay, I know, cause y'all don't like to talk about it. Ain't no unity without the U, it's elementary. Step back and watch the tables turn. Now I had to focus through the mirror and let that shit burn.
If you find anybody that'll love you, you better make sure that the love's true. Your family be the first one to hurt you. You better make sure that the love's true.
All right. I hope you guys liked it. I hope it was a little better. I'm new to this. I don't know anything about the editing part of anything. So I just, for the most part, wanted to come and allow you guys to share some of my music and to hopefully be inspired by some of the lyrics through the words in the song. that I chose to do the cover for was Moe3. He's one of my um, best rappers, if that's a word to use. But I really enjoyed his music while he was here. I still enjoy his music. Um, so, yeah, I chose him as the artist that I wanted to do a cover song for, um, Broken Love. And I don't know, I was in a really hard space um, during the time that he passed, dealing with my own family issues. And I just started writing music. I just started expressing myself on paper. And of course, I have a little bit of a music background. I was doing music back in 2011. Then I got pregnant with one of my daughters, and I kind of shied away from it, slowed up from it. And yeah, so I don't know. It's a new leaf, a new beginning for me. So it's still one of my passions that I love to do. And yeah, so I just gave it a shot. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, um, I picked Mo3 because it was fitting for the lyrics that I was inspired to write, from my own internal feelings, and also dealing with family issues and having friends throughout life that, you know, turn their back on you. And some of the lyrics in the song, if I could kind of critique where I was coming from um, with what I'm trying to get out in the song. So the first beginning of the lyrics, it says, um, I had to back away from the now cutting family ties. So that right there in itself is self-explanatory. Where I was coming from a space where it wasn't a negative thing that, um, towards my family or towards my friend, that I had to distance myself away from people. But I saw the people that I gave the most love to, and I looked at, on a certain type of level. Most of the time in life, um, some of us grow to understand that, everybody don't grow with you. Everybody can't grow with you. So, whereas then if I'm growing and the people around me aren't trying to grow on the same level, um, yeah, it's time to cut ties, so to speak. Um, it's time to cut ties, and some people grow apart. So with that being said, like I said, it wasn't anything negative. So it was, I had to back away from the now cutting family ties. And then I go on to say, I went to church with motherfuckers, ain't got no God in them now. So me just speaking on, again, family and friends, you grow up with people, you watch them, you know, in a good light at first, and then we all, grow into our own different selves. So for me, I really paid close attention to the people, my friends. I pay attention to everything and everyone that's around me for the most part. I learned that from my mother, and then once I became a mother, I grown I've grown to learn that it's very important that you learn to pay attention to people, places, the places that you go, the people that you're around, the things that you do, the things that you eat. So you have to be very watchful. So, or attentive, pay attention to everything, you know, or you miss your blessing, you know. So, with that being said, I had to back away from the now cutting family ties. I went to church with motherfuckers ain't got no God in them now. I had to back away from people, places, persons, and things. Of course, that's self-explanatory, as I was explaining a little bit. Yeah, some things that you used to do when you were younger, you can't do no more. The places that you used to go when you were younger, you don't go no more. At least in the song, I'm speaking from a place where I'm coming from. Me backing away from the club scene, not hanging out in the streets anymore, me cutting ties with, negative energy people and friends that I had in my life. Also, family as well, um, that were negative. And I'm just coming into this new person that I am, presenting to you all right now. And hopefully some of you all can relate. Some of you all, might be slow to understand because this is my first time on here, and I don't know, it's kind of difficult for me to speak right now because my nerves is really out of this world. So I'm just doing the best I can to try to explain the lyrics in the song and everything else, dealing with it. And also how I want to say that, you know, God blessed me to share that message because it is a great message from um, a spiritual place, especially with everything going on in the world. I just really felt like once I wrote it and I went into the studio to record it, um, and I started listening to it more and more, and I started catching myself like, wow, um, as I was getting more and more to the lyrics of what I was saying and just really paying attention to what God was giving me to put in the song and the space that He had me in at the time to be able to create the lyrics to the song. As I was saying, I was um, in a space where I was just tired of dealing and doing the same thing over and over again, being around the same people. Once I started to break away from certain things and they wanted to, or I wouldn't say just them, I was continuing to, for the most part, continuing to um, attach myself to these people, places, persons, and things, the more God was dealing with me. And He was also dealing with me and opening my spiritual eye to see, to allow me to see that He was dealing with me in the ways that He wanted to deal with me, which I was able to put into the song. Not that I was ever, a wild child or wild individual or anything like that. Just being, young, full of life, and just quote unquote living life to the fullest, you know. Um, and just having to deal with being a certain type of person in this world and not receiving the same back in return. I struggled, and God knows I struggled with that for a long time, asking God, why would I cross paths in my lifetime with certain people? And, just feeling, like I wanted to do something more, but didn't necessarily knew I can do it by myself, or knew I didn't need nobody along with me to get it done. Once I started to focus more on myself and things like that, and focus on, just how the love in return that I was giving, that I was not receiving back. And in that, I would like to say that God started speaking to me because I was feeling like, oh Lord, I'm a good person, this, that, and the third. And I always get, so to speak, I always cross paths with negative people. Um, yeah, negative people, so to speak. And I wouldn't say just all out negative. It's just like, oh, their demeanor sometimes negative. They don't speak positive things over themselves, over their life, over other people's lives. Um, I have never been like a gossiping, type person, so to speak. I'm a good listener, but I never been a type to indulge in gossip or anything like that. So I don't know. To me, when I see certain things like that, I would come off a certain way. You know, I would come off a certain way that most people, because they're so used to the fake and flaw, they wouldn't be able to receive it in a good way, or um, just Tamika being Tamika. Oh, she don't want to talk, or oh, she don't want to hear, me talking about, um, you know, who, whatever, who crossed who did this. It's just like I'm at a point where I am, I'm tired. I'm just tired of everything that's going on in the world, especially it started within my family. I was tired of everything that was going on in my family. As a family unit, most families, I don't know, when your elders pass on, and, your mother and father and your grandparents pass on, it's like the family, they don't know how to stick together. So with me, I've always been like a family oriented type person, family oriented. Um, I've always felt like in a certain way I was married to my family. Um, in a sense where in the song I said family is the first one to hurt you, which is true, because when we're born into this world, we're born, into a certain family, and we don't get to pick and choose the family that we're born into. So, with that being said, I've learned growing up that the first hurt that I've seen coming into this world, and the first hurt that I ever received, um, out of this world, was from my family. Um, whether it was the way that I was brought up, um, whether it was just the way that my family, we didn't always get along with one another, but it's just your family be the first one to hurt you. And in all essence, that's true, because your family is the first one that, you're born into this world with them, and you grow up with them before you go out in the outside world to deal with other people, new people that are outside of your family. So with that being said, your family be the first one to hurt you, and you could be the one in the family that's causing that hurt to other family members for whatever reason. It's a lot of reasons, so every family has their different reasons of why, hurt is being caused. But in that song, God just spoke to me in a sense where he wanted to deal with the families, you know in at this time, in the message of a song, your family be the first one to hurt you. And the chorus says, you better make sure that the love's true. So not just with family, because family too, family be the first one to hurt you, be the first one to love you. Most importantly, that came first, was love, and then the hurt, and then everything else, that's involved if you don't have people that care about one another, people that care about themselves. Because if a person doesn't care about themselves, they can't possibly, learn to care about you, or or anything else that's going on in this world that it takes us individually to help fix and to help make it right. So I believe I was on the part where I was speaking on in the song where I said, I had to back away from the now cutting family ties. I went to church and motherfuckers ain't got no God in them now. I had to back away from people, places, persons, and things. I started drifting when my brother died. So yeah, I started drifting when my brother died. So I lost my oldest brother in 1999. He was murdered. I believe I was 16 years old at the time. I was still in high school. And he was murdered on New Year's Day of 1999. Um, yeah, I started drifting when my brother died. The story around his death or his murder and everything that my family had to deal with around that time, and watching my mother experience that, losing a child and having that, you know, as a child myself, as a young girl, rather, at 16, experiencing that. My brother was like a father figure to um, me and my other siblings once my father passed away when I was 11 years old. I was a daddy's girl up until he passed away. I was 11 years old when I lost my dad. So my oldest brother, who passed away when he was just 26 years old. And I want to say this too. Back in 1999, I remember the wave of the music back then. I remember through my brother. Um, at that time, I was being a kid. I've always loved music, but I didn't learn rap music until, you know, my oldest brother, the one I'm speaking about in the song where I said I started drifting when my brother died, meaning I started drifting from what, the world was painting a picture of this certain type of place, or, as a child at that time, I just, I never thought I would have to face anything like that. As a child, when I lost my dad at 11, um, I don't know how I necessarily felt when I lost my father, um, because of the age I was at. I can remember being sad about it. I can remember I really didn't understand it. But at 16, when I lost my brother, it kind of hit me harder at 16 from when I lost my father at 11. So, yeah. Um, so the music that he was listening to at the time, like I said, I didn't know rap music. Well, I knew music, R&B, gospel, and stuff like that, but I wasn't really into rap music back then. I was, a girly girl and stuff like that. And back then, it was a lot of R&B music that was very popular, at the time that was out. So it was rap music, but the R&B charts, they were taking over at that time. So with that being said, just looking back over the years and looking at how my brother had to live his life and how the music influenced his lifestyle, which is now still going on today. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because, yeah, the music is a big influence of the way that people live their life. When my brother, before he was murdered, he used to listen to what was out, that Red Man and Method Man album was out. E40, Charlie Hustle, um, E40, Charlie Hustle. um, Master P, uh, Young Jeezy. He used to listen to that type of music as well. And I just want to say, like, which we already know, everybody's waking up to all of this, what's going on. But I watched my brother at a young age, as a young girl, and now I'm 38. Is it 12 o'clock already? If it's 12 o'clock, then today is my birthday, y'all. So I am 38 tonight, today. So happy birthday to me. So he was 26. So he was listening to what? E40, the Charlie Hustle. He was listening to Redman and Method Man album. He was listening to MJG and 8 Ball, of course, Tupac at the time. Who else? A few other artists as well. But at that time, the music in my brother area in 1999, that era of music was more street music, like getting the young men out from, school age, high school age, and right into the streets, because I watched that happen. Um, I watched my brother almost graduate high school. Um, and then an incident took place where it was a big fight at his high school, and he was jumped on really bad by a lot of different people at the school, and they beat him with bats and crutches and stuff like that. So he survived, but after that, I want to say that he like took a turn for the street life and stuff like that. So I wanted to share that part. I'm just talking right now. Anyways, I'm up. So for the most part, um, yeah, the music that he was listening to back then influenced him in the street life. Like, and me looking back as a young lady watching that take place, and me being a grown woman now in this generation, and looking back at my younger self, um, I was upset. I was angry, um, because I knew how we was raised. I knew how we was brought up, and the way that music. Um, at first, we were brought up on music. How do you say? Trying to come up with the right words to use. The cookout music, the old school, music. Where it made you feel good, and it got the family involved, the family together, and that type of music brought the families together. And I want to say that was like when I was before high school. We had that type of music. They were putting out music that brought families together, that you would you know, get with your family and spend a lot of time with your family. If I'm making any sense, I can't um, say it any differently, than what I'm saying it right now. But yeah, we had that good family music, the music that made you want to get up and dance with your family members, watch the old school people in your family, your aunt and your mom get up and shake a tail feather and stuff like that for the little kids. And in the 90s, the music changed in the 90s. It was more so, especially in the late 90s, before 2000 hit, it became where I watched my brother, like I said, he almost graduated high school. My oldest brother that was murdered. The one that I mentioned, oh, excuse me, the one that I mentioned in the song. Um, and the music that he listened to pulled him from one type of being to, it influenced him. It influenced him to be he wanted it to be a provider. He's a man, so of course you guys have it in you to be providers, but the music influenced him to want to be a provider in a different light. It wasn't so much positive for him or for, what was shown to us through what, he felt he had to do, listening to the music, watching all, you know, the flashy cars and, jewelry and stuff like that, everything in the 90s that the rappers were rapping about, talking about, whether they were living it or knew somebody that was living it. You have real people out here in this world that was actually out here living it and, about their life. And my brother was one of them. He, um, like I say, he's passed on, but my brother was a drug dealer. And like I said, the music influence, that change that came about where he was almost a graduate in high school, and then um you know I don't know what took place because the age difference, he was like 10 years older than me at the time, so the age difference was so much. But I just remember I always paid attention to everybody. I always paid attention to everything. My family said I'm the one in the family that always remember everything from way back when. I'm the one that, they would call and be like, you remember this? So what's this? So what's that? Because I always remember everything. So with that being said, I just remember watching my brother. I remember the music he used to listen to. I remember watching him go out in the streets and try to, find himself as a young man without a father figure and being influenced by the music. Um, and the lifestyle that he chose for himself was a big part in that, with the Master P, the E40, the MJG and 8 Ball, Young Jeezy, the list goes on. If you go back to the 90s music, the late 90s music, and even Tupac and all that stuff that took place, you can hear the difference. You can hear the difference. And if you can go back and hear the difference in the music from then, and you can hear the difference in the music today and what it's doing to the music that society and these rappers and artists, are putting out here, you can see what it's doing to the younger generation, you know, and it's not helping them at all. Like nowadays, you, I mean, it depends on what type of musical person you are. I love all types of music, rap, R&B, whatever you name it, country, gospel, a little bit of everything. So, I mean, but all the music sound the same. It's like all the music sound the same to me. It's like corrupting for the soul. When you know how influential music can be, when I paid attention and saw how influential the music was on, my brother, first off, he's the first person I paid attention to and saw what happened and saw what it did as far as in the lifestyle that he chose to take, seeing all this on TV and stuff like that, and all these artists that, didn't necessarily grow up how the rest of the world grew up. They put on this facade, but they don't actually come from the same places. They don't actually come from the same backgrounds that we come from, but we support them and stuff like that. So they don't always think about us. Like I remember seeing the video with Cardi B. Um, she was in her house and she played her WAP song, and her daughter walked up on her and she was just like, oh, I got to cut it off. She turned it off. Now, I'm not saying that her actions and her turning it off were wrong, in doing so, because her daughter walked up, she did what was right. But my thing is, like, she showed the whole world how big of a hypocrite that she really is, because they don't care about your children. They don't care about my children. They don't care about, they know kids are easily influenced, not just by their parents, being around their mother and father. Kids are like sponges. Wherever and whoever they go around, whatever they see, whatever they hear, they're going to pick up and gravitate to that, and they're going to manifest that, you know. So in a sense, she knew that, but with her choosing the type of lyrics or choosing the type of music that she puts out there to the world, to us mothers with kids, which I know better, you know, I would, to be honest, I watched the video, the WAP video. I did like it, you know, my old self, you know, myself, the self, myself that was out in the streets, myself that was clubbing and stuff like that, you know, that's cool, you know, when I was on that type of time, but I haven't been on that type of time in over 5 years. And as I mentioned, I just turned 38 today, April the 28th. Today is my birthday and my daughter's birthday. I had a daughter on my birthday as well. She's asleep, but yeah, we're gonna celebrate tomorrow um, when she get out of school. But she's a hypocrite because she wouldn't dare to allow her daughter to listen to her own music, and that should be an eye opener to a lot of you all, a lot of people that love these type of artists, that they don't care what type of influence they have. Some people, I'm not easily influenced, and I teach my children as well not to be easily influenced, as well not to um, take for granted certain things that they see and hear, especially through the music. Um, yeah, especially through the music, because it's very, the music nowadays is corrupting the soul. It's damning. It's damning to the soul and to the young people that don't know how to block out or don't know how to build up a spiritual side. So, you know, they don't manifest these things they're hearing or seeing, or do certain things that they see these celebrities getting paid to do and everything like that. So yeah, I'm not gonna touch bases on her. I don't have anything against her. Um, I love her music. I loved it her on New York Love and Hip Hop when she first was presented to the world. But I just, yeah, I had to say that, you know, she's a hypocrite because you put out that type of music that you know that other young ladies, um, and you wouldn't want your child to listen to it. So I would say to you as an artist, you know, if you can be more conscious like you were when you were politicking um, with Bernie, if you could be more mindful about some of the lyrics that, or just what you putting out there, what you're presenting yourself to be, and who you are. Because however you present yourself, that's how the world will look at you. And when I saw that video of you um, and your daughter when you were playing your WAP song, and I'm on here talking like she might be listening, but you never know. Um, yeah, that bothered me. I mean, you were right to do it because your little baby should not be no little babies. And I hope that other mothers that's out here that like listening to music like that, and fathers, if you like listening to a certain type of music that you know, because children don't know um, how much influence that, you know, we as parents do. We know that the world can be a big influence on our children. And that's why we have to do a good job, you know, with them in the house. That way, when they leave outside of the house and go and indulge with the rest of the world, that they can keep hold of, you know, what we taught them, what we showed them, and they won't stray away, you know, because they remember what mama and daddy said. They remember no matter, you know, what they see other people do, they gonna know they stand for who they are, and they gonna be who they are no matter if they indulge in what other people are doing or not. So I just say if you could be more mindful or more creative, you know, I want to see some more creativeness, um, lyrical side, especially with everything that's going on. I mean, with everything that's going on in the world, y'all think y'all really want to hear more club songs and all this and all that and all this and all that? And I know some people be like, well, we don't want to hear about what's going on in the world. We already see what's going on in the world. Yes, but it still need balance, you know. And right now we don't have no good music, no powerful music to make positive impact, positive change in our society. That's why we seeing what we're seeing now. And not to say that the music is a whole thing, it's just a part of the problem with the young generation because they are so easily influenced, and we adults know that. That's why we should try to do better, you know, and how we present ourselves in front of children, what we say around them, what we do, how we handle ourselves, because we were children at one point, and we know that children are the future. We are the future. Like, I'm an 80s baby, so I feel like anybody from like, I'm gonna just stick to the 80s. I was gonna say 70, the late 70s and 80s, but this is like our generation to be running things right now, and to be instilling good, positive impact, to be trying to, you know, bring back some type of unity, you know, in society. Um, it's so much I want to say, y'all. I was supposed to be talking about more of my lyrics from the song, um, which I do want to get back into, but I know I strayed off a little bit just thinking about everything that's going on and thinking about, you know, what's going on in the music industry, what we're seeing with everything, just how everybody is turning against one another, you know, and that's not going to solve anything. You know, that's only going to make what's going on in the world become worse. You know, if we don't be careful and if we don't pay attention, you know, to what's going on, and we keep sitting on our hands, up underneath our hands, so to speak, while we watching all this take place, it's going to get out of hand. And I just want to say, you know, for the kids' sake, even if you're not a mother, if you don't have children or anything, you know, just the possibility of um, you to have that chance, you know. And it's like right now at our fingertips where we might not have that chance, or some of you might not have that chance. My children might not have a chance to have children with everything that's going on. So I don't know, just try to do, you know, any and everything that you can on a daily basis to better yourself, to speak positive. Um, you speak positive, and positive things will happen over your life. If you speak negative things, then negative things will occur, will happen. So I guess that's what I was saying about the music. You know, it's a lot of negative music. It's a lot of music out here that's promoting, um, you know, violence, and yeah, that's not right. That's not right at all. It's not right. And I just want people to be more mindful about, just take a look. You know, I know you might have a lot of things going on in your family, in your life, in your own personal relationship, but just take a look around for a second. You know, if you think you got it hard, you know, just wait, because it's going to get worse before it gets better. And if we don't wake up and do our part and play our role, then it's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. And before you know it, death might be knocking at your door for whatever reason that you're not paying attention to, because We don't want to pay attention to what's going on in the world. So back into the song, into the lyrics. I know I've been on here for OG, 38 years of age, and I'm proud about that. Um, yeah. So back into the song. And I said I started drifting when my brother died. Started seeing shit for what it is. When family ain't family and friends ain't friends and crossing motherfuckers be the reason why it ends. So my brother died or got murdered, and that opened my eyes up because he was murdered. He was murdered the way he was murdered, and the people that he was around were people that he grew up with, like mud brothers, as the younger generation say, mud brothers. So when he passed away, I kind of learned from that. I kind of that was a tragedy to me, but in that tragedy, I learned not to trust people, um, not to trust people. God says trust no one, and that's the God having truth, not in a negative way. It's just like some people are negative. So yes, some of that trust issue can be, yeah, I don't trust you, nigga, because you ain't right. You shisty, you shady. You always playing left. You always going left. You don't never do right, so to speak. When I said, um, I started drifting when my brother died. Start seeing shit for what it is. When family ain't family and friends ain't friends. As I mentioned, you know, Lord knows I don't had a lot of friends that crossed me, a lot of family that crossed me too. But I'm a good person. I be good to people. I'm not a soft person. Um, I'm more of a zero tolerance person. Like I have a high tolerance for, or had, I would say that high tolerance for negativity and drama and nonsense. I no longer have that at this point in my life, at this day and age where I'm at right now. I have zero tolerance for BS and drama and negativity and bull jive. Don't bull jive me. You know, my tests and trials and tribulations come from God, you know. So you can't test and try me and try to, pull me or throw me off my rocker, so to speak. So, anyways, yeah, when family ain't family and friends ain't friends, of course, everybody show they true colors. Everybody, you know, will show you who they really are. I mean, you could try to deny what you see, but the more you deny what you see, the more they're gonna give you what you're denying until you yourself wake up and say, you know what, I don't like this. I'm this way, and I ain't like them. And if they can't, and you still around them for this long and they ain't turned you how they were, then it's time for you to separate. So I didn't want the negative people I was around to take my goodness away from me. I didn't want them to um, take the good person. I didn't want them to turn me into the people that they were. Like whatever they were dealing with, I deal with a different way, you know, which is through the Most High. I haven't always learned to deal with things that way. Sometimes in my past, before I've learned to seek Christ or Jesus, um, and put Him ahead of my life, I used to resort, self medicate myself with marijuana, drinking, just in the street life and stuff like that to try to take away certain anxieties or issues that I were having within myself or people around me, or just feeling like I feel used and stuff like that, until I just wised up and say, you know what, how can I feel used if I don't extend myself to those people that, I know for a fact using me? So I stopped extending myself to those people. I cut them off, you know, and then I didn't cut them right off. It took years, for me to build up the courage to um, be good to myself, you know, to cut people off that was around me and I could not be good to myself because it was always something going on with them. Um, it was always something that I had to tend to for other people, you know, and maybe that's how God wanted it in the beginning, which I know he had his hands on me for a long time. I didn't always know that, but in this day where I'm at today, I know that God has always been there, and he's going to continue to be there. And with that being said, I just try to do my best to please him and to just be positive, to speak positive, to do positive, be positive to others, um, help out any way I can in my community, family, friends, whoever path I may be able to cross, it's whatever. So back to the song. um, what did I say? Oh yeah. And then crossing motherfuckers say the reason why I didn't went from. Oh no, I said I started drifting when my brother died. Start saying shit for what it is. When family ain't family and friends ain't friends. Crossing motherfuckers be the reason why I didn't. Of course, that's self-explanatory. Crossing motherfuckers be the reason why I didn't. Some people get crossed, like I used to get crossed, and I would not leave these people alone. I would give them more chances and more chances and more chances to cross me, but not knowing my true self, you know, is like a beast inside, you know, but I know how to put water on my fire when necessary to, you know. I know how to put water on my fire. So if they couldn't make me or turn me like they was, then it wasn't no need for us, to be around. Either I had to cut them off, or it was gonna be something was gonna happen in the long run where I was gonna really have to let them know that I'm not the one to be played with. So you could take my kindness for a weakness. So before I have to turn ugly, or before I allowed them to get me to the stage where, oh yeah, we could try. No, I know how to cut you off. I just cut you off. You try to call my phone. I don't got to answer. You come to my house. I don't got to talk to you, you know, or whatever. I don't got to indulge, I don't have to indulge. So it was easy. It took me years to come up with that. That was a joke, but it took me years to be in a space where I didn't have to hold on to negativity. Um, I didn't want to let it conquer me anymore. Not that it didn't conquer me. It just engulfed me. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't let me. I couldn't be free. I couldn't shake it. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere I went, it was shady people, shiesty people. So moving forward, okay. I keep losing my train of thought every time on this part. So when family ain't family and friends ain't friends, and crossing motherfuckers be the reason why then, of course. And then the second part says, I went to, I went from, I went to school. Hold on. I went to school. I went to school with no school. Like first I was in school, then it was no school. Then I started having babies and shit. And that's why I put that part in there, because that's what happened. I myself, like my brother, um, I was in the 11th grade when I dropped out of high school. I didn't get pregnant right away, but it was after his murder. And I kind of like took a break. I got a job. I tried to work and go to school. Um, my brother died. You know, I knew he was a help to my mother and stuff like that. Um, so I just got a job so I can help out, in the household with my mom. be able to do more things for myself, so she didn't have to really worry about, how she was going to be able to, do this and do that, you know. So I was old enough to work, so I did. I got a job. I've been working since, 14 years old. And my 11th grade year um, was the year that I lost my brother and I dropped out. I was a high school cheerleader. I was pretty popular, in school, in high school. Not that that mattered to me. It was not something that I tried to do. It was just, I do hair. So I've always, you know, um, yeah, I've always been, kind of known and did few other things too. But um, yeah, I was in school, then no school. And that's when I started having babies. And yes, and then I go on to say I was raised to be careful. I said I went from school to no school, start having babies and shit. I was raised to be careful, won't trust nobody but God. And that's the God having truth. My mama raised me, don't trust nobody but God, because people will let you down. And it's not intentionally that they let you down, but they'll let you down, whether it be big or small. That's why you always should make sure you have you. Not to say that we shouldn't depend on other people, but you just always need to know in the back of your mind, just in case not, just in case such and such don't come through. Guess what? I got a plan A, B, C, D. It may be even a plan E, you know what I'm saying, for yourself. Not having a plan B, I'm gonna call Paul. Plan B, I'm gonna call Vicky. Plan C, I'm gonna call Tasha. No, no, not those plans. Don't use other people for your plans for you to get to where you need to be. You you want to be there, you want to get there, you do it. Do it for yourself. Yes, it's okay to help others. Yes, you should. But where some people set themselves up for failure is when they start um, putting other people, wanting other people to go out their way, or expecting other people to um, pick up the pieces where they can't pick up the pieces for themselves. So if you look at it on both sides, yes, we help one another. But what I want to say is to the ones where I had to tell myself as well, you got to have more than your plan A, B, C, D. And your plan A, B, C, D, and even E, don't allow those plans to deal with other people, meaning, oh, if this don't fall through, I got this person. If that don't fall through, I'm gonna fall back on that person. No, you got to have you. You can't depend on nobody for no ride. You can't depend on nobody for nothing. You always got to have you. So you got to take preparations right now, if you haven't been, to always have you, where you don't need to ask nobody for anything, you know. And God will make it happen. He will make it happen. So just try to formulate a plan or critique yourself. What are you good at? You know, what are positive ways that you can do other things, that you can create, revenue or good ideas for yourself to create, more things. But you just don't trust nobody, because people will let you down for the smallest things and even, the big things. So it's always best to make sure that you always have you, you know, create your plans, your plan B, your backup plans, create them around you. Don't create your backup plan around other people, because you can't depend on other people. Not to say that all people, you could depend on me, you know. At least that's how I am, and people in my family and my circle, they know if I say something, or if I say this, that, and the third, I do it. And then sometimes depends on what they want from me or what it is they ask of me. Like, I'll do it, but on my own time. Like, you know, but either way, you just don't trust no one. You should only trust God. That's what God said, because people will let you down, but God will never let us down. We put our trust in Him. We give Him all. He won't let us down. He's an on-time God. He will come through and provide whatever our needs and wants are when we need Him. Not when we think He should move and do it, but when He know it's time for Him to move in our life, He'll come move in our life. You know. So with that being said, back into the song. Um, Start having babies and shit. I was raised to be careful, wouldn't trust nobody but God. And then only dog that showed loyalty was the one with 4 legs. That's the God, heaven, truth. Man, only dog that showed loyalty was the one with 4 legs. They say blood is thicker than water. Let's keep this shit biblical. And eye for an eye, 2 for 2. Family ties, I'm cutting family ties. Yes. Yes. So when I came back, I said, after I said, won't trust nobody but God. And then I said, they say blood is thicker than water. Let's keep this shit biblical. No, excuse me. I said, won't trust nobody but God. And eye for an eye, 2 for 2, family ties. No, I messed up somewhere. Um, oh, and only dog that showed loyalty was the one with 4 legs. Yeah, I like that. It's a very true statement. You know, um, I'm a dog lover. I've had dogs. My children had a dog, Sandy. I miss Sandy. She passed away. She was ill, and Sandy passed away. And then we had 2 pit bulls, 2 female pit bulls, which I loved them. China and Moolah. One was China, and we called the other one Moolah. And Moolah, she was my baby. Um, yeah, in China, we had to give her away. Um, but yeah, having my dogs, or just knowing dogs, period, they're very loyal. You know, people can actually learn a lot from a dog. So, yeah, people could actually learn a lot from a dog because they are very loyal creatures and they're very protecting. You know, can you imagine if people, will have their doggy behavior, where they're being very protective of one another? They won't let any harm come to, one another. Well, dogs fight, but I'm just taking it a little bit too far there. But yes, dogs are very loyal. And yes, people can learn a lot from dogs being loyal and protecting, one another. And just, yeah, they say dogs never turn on their owners. But yet this generation, oh, that's my dog, that's my dog, that's my dog, that's my dog. Okay. Okay, it's just a matter of time before you turn on your dog or your dog turn on you. Because y'all don't understand what loyalty is nowadays. Y'all don't understand what trust is nowadays. So I'm going to stick with the dog. The only dog that showed loyalty was the one with 4 legs. Then I go on to say, they say blood is thicker than water. Let's keep this shit biblical. And eye for an eye, 2 for 2, family ties. That's what it is. That's what you see. Eye for an eye, 2 for 2. It's no more scratch my back and I scratch your back. So it's like, you know, watch your back. An eye for an eye, 2 for 2. You feel me? You touch one of mine, I'm touching one of yours. So that's the day and age that we live in. So an eye for an eye, 2 for 2, family ties. I'm cutting family ties. And then I say, so where were you when I was drowning, laughing at my situation, steadily anticipating what I'm doing and how I'm moving? Always keeping my grass cut so I can see you niggas creeping. Always playing love. No, you niggas ain't right. Come on now. Come on now. I always playing left. No, you niggas ain't right. I always keep my grass cut so I can see you niggas creeping. I'm not gonna get into it tonight because I've already been on here for an hour and some change now that I'm looking at the time. But boy, I tell you, when I came across some hell of a people, in this world, and I'm still here, to tell my story, to sing my song, to influence whoever in a positive, good way. Maybe we have some of the same experiences, even though I'm not, sharing a lot with you all tonight, but I'm sharing enough to try to let y'all in because this is something that I would like to do more. I'm very spiritual. It's very spiritual. My nerves are really, really bad in my spiritual studies when I want to share it outwardly with people, but that's what God want me to do. Um, Share my studies when God minister me and he pulled me into the word and start speaking to my heart. That's what he really want me on here to do. So eventually I will. And I also, music wise, I was doing all kind of music. I could sing as well. Um, but I want to just, I don't even want to make no money off of it. I'm too old anyways, but I just want to be able to bless. And I say I'm too old, but I'm 38 today. So I just want to bless people with some positive music, something that's worth that can help change people in a good way. um Not, so to speak, that's telling you to go out there and rob and kill and shoot people and go get a gun and all that other crazy stuff. No, you know what I'm saying? Because no, I have a son, I take care of my nephew, I have a big family with a lot of boys in my family, and I know how tough it is for this generation, for the young generation, to try to see their way, try to find their way through all this, try to you know, find themselves in this world where, we don't even know what's going to take place tomorrow, you know. So, with that being said, yeah, where were you when I was drowning, laughing at my situation, steadily anticipating what I'm doing and how I'm moving, always keeping my grass cut so I can see you niggas creeping, always playing left, no, you niggas ain't right. And that's the truth. You always got to be watchful. So I just put that in there as a figure of speech, meaning, to say that I'm a watchful person, you know, meaning you can't see my eyebrows raised up, but they be raised up on you in my spirit. You know what I'm saying? I let you test my flesh, but my spirit ain't gonna let you go too far with no nonsense, pretty much. And I'm the type of person instead of like antagonizing or lashing out or whatever. I just rather cut people off nowadays. It's not worth the fight and stuff like that. Just cut them off. You know what I'm saying? If they don't mean you no good, just let it go. LIG it. So on the next verse, I said, um, what did I say? I said, I'm sorry, you guys. What did I say on the second verse? On the second verse, oh, I'm cutting family ties. Oh no, I start off saying, they say blood is thicker than water, then this that can't enable beef. My Lord. I was speaking from where at the time where I was living at and everything that was going on that I was seeing, um, you know, through Christ, I know that we all are spiritual brothers and sisters. So, and then I know the story about Cain and Abel, so it's like I know what God expects of us and how we should be and act toward one another. And I know that we all are, brothers and sisters up underneath the Father, our Father in heaven, God. We are all his children. So therefore we all are brothers and sisters. up underneath God. We are his children. So with that being said, Cain and Abel beef. Cain killed Abel because of jealousy and all that. So it's just the time that we're living in where most of the time the jealousy come from because you got this person that's on a certain type of level. First of all, we all came from the bottom. Okay, say we all came from the bottom. This is what I tell my family. We all came from a certain place. We all came from the same breastbone. We all was raised and brought up the same way. Why are we so different? How can we go astray? You know what I'm saying? Why did y'all go so far from what we was raised and how we was taught? You know, but because I didn't go astray, and that's important. I didn't go astray. I did, but I didn't go too far astray where I couldn't, where ain't no coming back from what my mama taught me, from what God showed me. You get too far away from what